Here we go. Oh, got to change the date. Okay, so this is going to be the day for you to finish off your graphical addition of vectors. And so yesterday we went through the process to show you how to do it. And we gave you one problem, so I'm just going to call this number 1 here. And some of you finished this completely. But today we are going to add a couple more problems for you to do. If I find my list here. Okay. Is that the one I actually did? Let me see. Yeah. Okay. Make sure. So, your second problem is that one. Thank goodness that I put it in that order too, right? Because some of you go like, oh my God, if you scramble that one, that's not good, Mr. Panovich. Okay, and remember, the idea is I want you to add the vectors in the order that they are given here, okay? And I will know if you don't, because I will just look at your picture and be able to see that you did not add them in this order, okay? And the other reason that I would like you all to do it in the order that is given is so that if you go to compare your answer with somebody else, your picture should look similar. And so if you simply look at somebody else's and go, oh God, how did that happen? It will force you to look more closely and kind of question, did I measure everything correctly? And then the last one is to add those 5. Now, in general, on your paper, and this is a very loose way of approaching this, because if you really understood our discussion yesterday, when we showed you, I think it was A plus H, and we said, look, nothing was happening in the second, third, and fourth quadrants, so when you were trying to imagine, I want to fit this problem here, that you could shift your starting point kind of down and to the left, because the problem went up and to the right. If you kind of caught onto that idea, you're easily going to be able to fit all of these on here, okay? But the general idea is that you could fit problem number 1 somewhere in the upper left quadrant area. You could fit problem number 2 over in the right quadrant, and if it comes down a little bit below that, whatever. And then you have all of this bottom area left for problem number 3. And I think for the most part, I will just go ahead and give you the hint that I think if you start this more or less centralized in this big area, you won't have to worry about anything going off the paper as long as you add them in this particular order. So your job today is to do these problems and then turn this thing in, and in a sense we're done doing graphical addition of vectors. And the main reason that I'm having you do this is so that when we transition over to mathematical vectors, we won't have to make sketches that are this accurate, but we will still be making sketches of vectors, and hopefully by having played with the vectors graphically, you'll feel more comfortable with what we're going to do mathematically over the course of the next week or so. Now, reminders. Well, I will use the proper terminology here. label each of the arrows. You don't have to give me the numbers, like how long it's supposed to be and what angle, because that's in your master list. But in your picture, I want to see, B, where you drew B. And I do want the arrow indicator over the top of it. And that includes your resultant. And then remember, the format of your answer vector, which is R, is that R equals an ordered pair with the first thing of that ordered pair representing the length of it. And it needs to have units, or I'm going to ding you on that. And then the second thing is your theta. And I want this I want you to give me a little arrow indicator where you measured your angle from, okay? Because we pointed out yesterday that if you point your resultant in the wrong direction, you could technically measure an angle correctly, but it'll end up being the wrong angle because you're kind of starting from the wrong spot. So all of these little things in here, for me, are indicators that you really understand what's going on. All right, so that's your job today. Any questions? All right. Okay, yes.
What do you mean by indicated in picture?
Like in yesterday when we did, I think our picture kind of looked like this, and then we put our R here, and this was our original set of coordinate axes. That thing right there. So I want to see, where did you start the idea of where are you measuring your angle from, because that will tell me, okay, you started from the right place. Okay? Does that clarify it a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. Some will be like this. People go, oh God, that's obvious. It's first quadrant. But if you're in the second, third, or fourth quadrant, you're still going to start from here, so you may have to go around a little bit, but that all depends on where your answer points. Okay, any other questions? Okay, if not, I'm signing off.